Hello everyone. So today we'll be doing paper number third, that is communication and health education. So let's start off with communication first. So what is communication? It is a process of exchanging information, ideas, feelings, any kind of message between two or more individuals or a group. And it can be through verbal, non-verbal or written means. Its main aim is to create understanding and mutual meaning. And an act of sharing information with others to achieve understanding understanding of the message which the sender wants to convey. So it includes communication process. So what is communication process? These are the steps and elements which are involved in successful transmission and understanding of the message between the sender and the receiver, which includes exchange of information, ideas, opinions, emotions, and unless and until the message is not understood, then the communication is not complete. So, what are these elements of communication process? Is the sender, firstly the sender. He encodes his thoughts, sends the message through some channel or media, which is affected by some noise that can be physical, emotional, any kind of disturbance. It is sent to the receiver. The receiver decodes that message, he responds, and gives feedback according to his understanding. So, who is the sender? Sender is the communicator who initiates the message. Message is the idea or thought that the sender wants to convey. Encoding is the process of converting your message or thoughts into words, symbols, gestures, visuals. Medium or channel are the methods used by the sender to send the message, like speech, through writing, through emails, phones, body languages. Then receiver is the person or the group who receives and interprets the message. Decoding is the process by which the receiver interprets or understands the message. Feedback is the response from the receiver that the message has been understood or not. And noise are the interference. These are blockages that distorts the messages, like physical noise, language difference, misunderstandings. All these are noise or barriers of communication. So according to Claude and Vanner Warren, communication is the process of transmitting information from a sender to a receiver through a communication channel with various elements involved in encoding and decoding the message. So in detail, the elements of communication process, the sender. Sender he is the fundamental element who initiates the communication and creates a message or information to share with others. His role is to effectively encode his thoughts and information into a message form, which can be transmitted through a chosen communication channel to reach the intended recipient. So the sender plays a crucial role in ensuring that the is clear, it's purposeful, and appropriately it is according to the audience choice. So the elements of the elements of main basically these are characteristics of a sender in communication, which includes intentions, is knowledge, attitude and beliefs, communication skills, non-verbal cues like body language, eye contact, emotional state, cultural background, perceptions, and assumptions. The sender he should have a clear reason or purpose for communication. Then his intentions, which it guides the content and delivery of the message. The sender should possess the information, ideas, feelings which they wish to convey. So his knowledge about the subject matter and the receiver influences the message's clarity and accuracy. He should know about the receiver. Then this is the process of translating thoughts and ideas. So he can effectively encode their message, ensuring it is clear, concise, and it is unbiased. And the sender's communication skill is also important. His verbal fluency, writing ability, listening skills, non-verbal communication, its credibility. If the sender is not trusted, the message may be ignored or distorted. The sender's attitude, biases, and beliefs also influence the message content. His cultural background also shapes the communication values and norms, and his perception of the receiver and the situation, they also influence how the message can be crafted. Where then the sender responsible for selecting the most appropriate communication channel. It depends upon the sender that how he is conveying the message. It is face to face, through emails, through phone calls, written reports, social medias, all these things. And while feedback comes from the receiver, but a good sender understands the importance of feedback and often builds mechanisms, or he encourages the receiver to provide the necessary feedback. Now, what is encoding? Encoding is a process where the sender he converts his thoughts and ideas into a message form. And the process of encoding is where the sender puts their thought into a structured and communication form, allowing for effective transmission. Message is the information which the sender wants to communicate to the receiver. Channel is the framework of communication channels which serve as the pathways that help messages move from sender to the receiver. These channels can be voice calls, emails, reports, social medias, video conferencing, one-to-one conversations. So these channels influence all these factors also influence the channels like clarity. There should be clarity in video conferencing, in voice calls, then in emails. There should be a proper language, a proper criteria for sending the emails, for sending reports, and all these factors such as clarity and emotional connection between the sender and the receiver also has a huge impact in the communication process. So channels in communication process are divided into three categories: oral channel, written channel, and audiovisual. Oral is the oral communication. The sender directly interacts with the receiver. Then the written messages are transmitted in written format like letters, memos, reports, emails. Audio video channels are audio video tapes, video conferencing, video chats. Now, receiver. Receiver is the critical component. He is responsible for receiving and processing the message sent by the sender. And the effectiveness of communication relies on receiver's ability to decode the message. जब तक वो समझ नहीं पाएगा कि सेंडर क्या सेंड करना चाह रहा है, क्या मैसेज कन्वे करना चाहता है, then he cannot decode it properly. और जो मकसद था सेंडर का, वो पूरा नहीं हो पाएगा. Now, what is decoding? Decoding is the process in communication cycle where the receiver interprets and understands the message sent by the sender. It involves the receiver translating the encoding message into the understanding and making sense of the information. Miss Sender कुछ message send कर रहा है, but it depends on the receiver and his understanding that how he decodes and how he interprets that message. Now, response is the immediate action or reaction given by the receiver. कुछ भी वो डायरेक्ट बिहेवियर कर सकता है, उसको पसंद आ रहा है, नहीं आ रहा है, ही इज अंडरस्टैंडिंग और नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग, ही इज लिसनिंग और नॉट, दैट इज क्विक रिस्पॉन्स. फीडबैक इज द रिसीवर्स रिस्पॉन्स टू द सेंडर्स मैसेज. मीन्स उसको वो बात ढंग से समझ में आई कि नहीं, उसको अच्छी लगी कि नहीं, दैट इज फीडबैक. एंड प्रोवाइडिंग फीडबैक इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द effectiveness of future communication. Noise are the any kind of disturbance or interruption that happen while communication, which hampers the actual transmission and reception of the message. So some common type of noises are semantic noise. Semantic noise means language problem. कभी कोई साउथ इंडिया का I mean he is speaking in his own language, and then the receiver cannot interpret the message. So similarly, some there are people who cannot understand English well. So उनको कोई बात समझ में मुश्किल हो जाएगी. So all these are semantic noise. So the messenger or the communicator or the sender, he should know about his audience, that what kind of language they speak, what kind of language they understand. Then is environmental noise. Environmental noise are external factors such as background noises, physical barriers. Psychological noise are the emotional and mental state of both the sender and the receiver, which includes stress, emotional reactions. All these also impact the process and understanding of the message. Physical noise are the tangible noise like poor quality phone line, written text, that is handwriting problem. All these are physical noise. So, how these nine elements in a communication work? The sender encodes the message through a channel. The receiver decodes it, gives response, and provides feedback. On this channel or media, all this is distorted by noise, so this should also be taken into consideration. Now, what is the importance of elements of this communication? First is effective message delivery. The clarity and accuracy of the message are essential for successful communication. So the sender's ability to encode and also the receiver's ability to decode the message is very important. Building relationships, effective communication establishes the cornerstone for building strong relationships in both personal and professional environment. अच्छी कम्युनिकेशन होगी किसी भी दो ग्रुप में दो इंडिविजुअल्स में तो उनका एक अच्छा बॉन्ड बन जाता है. Then is feedback and confirmation. Feedback from the receiver follows the sender to confirm allows the sender to confirm whether the message was received and understood as intended. And it helps to identify any misunderstandings and provides an opportunity for clarification and improvement. For future communication, it is necessary to provide feedback so that the sender knows that where is false and what all is needed to be improved. Then is problem solving. Clear communication, it helps in problem solving by ensuring that the instructions, suggestion, ideas that are given, the comprehending which lead to better outcomes. Then is enhancing collaboration, proper communication, it enhances collaboration and teamwork. See, in an organization or any hospital or any business organization, if there is proper communication among all the subordinates, all the managers, or all the employees, then it helps in mutual bonding and it also provides a cornerstone for the success of the organization because all the members of the organization will be doing the work in a as a team. They will have a proper communication and they will trust each other better. So so this communication cycle, this is the communication cycle which starts with the sender who sends the message. Then the message is encoded, sent to communication channel. This channel transmits the message, receiver receives it, decodes the message, and the feedback is sent. So this is the communication cycle. If it comes in the exam, then you can make this diagram also. Now, what are the characteristics of communication? So communication is a two-way process which involves sending the message and receiving the message, and includes feedback. It is a continuous process and it doesn't have a clear start or end. कभी भी कहीं भी start हो सकता है. डायनेमिक एंड एवर चेंजिंग कम्युनिकेशन इज डायनेमिक. यू कभी भी कहीं भी किसी भी टाइम कुछ भी आप कोई भी टॉपिक में आप स्टार्ट कर सकते हो. पर्पसफुल, इट शुड हैव अ गोल to inform, it's to persuade, to entertain, to express feeling, to share some information. So it has a goal or purpose. Influenced by the situation, it's contextual, cultural background. It is influenced by cultures, relationships, and situations. Verbal and non-verbal, it includes spoken or written words, gestures, facial expressions, tone, that is very important in communication. If a person is not speaking in a good tone, then the receiver will not be able to understand or he will not be interested in understanding or listening to the message. Irreversible, once the message is sent, it cannot be taken back. It is affected by noises, physical or psychological. So what are the objectives of communication? First is exchange of information, exchange of ideas, sharing of information. Like in a business organization, the employees are well informed about various aspects of the job, they will perform better. So sharing of information is done through meetings, telephones, notice, employee handbooks, bulletins, and organization which communicates with the outsiders, also investors, with customers, with suppliers, with public, with government, to provide the information about its products and policies and contribution to social responsibilities. Second objective is issue of orders, to issue orders and instructions to the employees, and instructions which indicates how to carry out the orders, which are based on superiors authority, and the subordinates are expected to perform them. Then is advice and counseling. Managers often give advice to their colleagues and subordinates. Advice involves personal opinion of the advisor, and purpose of offering advice is to influence the behavior of the other party. I mean, if a person is not motivated to do some work, then the manager can have a communication with him, and an effective communication will lead to motivation of the employer to work better. Persuasion is aimed at persuading others for favorable response. It's making an effort to change the influence of the behavior and attitude of other. किसी को persuade करना, किसी को प्रोत्साहित करना किसी काम को करने के लिए. Suggestion is mild or subtle form of communication, and it is both downward and upward. Means downward suggestion enjoys over the other means of communication like advice. Advice comes from an expert and order comes from high authority. But suggestion is a kind of subtle form of communication जिसमें आपको किसी को बस सजेस्ट कर सकते हैं, बट वो काम वो करेगा या नहीं करेगा वो उस पर डिपेंड करता है. Education is the good communication helps in molding people's behavior, like health education. आप कोई नर्सेज हैं, मिडवाइफ्स हैं, वो पब्लिक में जाकर उनको कम्युनिकेट करती हैं कैसे कैसे उनको अपनी हेल्थ के लिए ध्यान देना है, सैनिटेशन में ध्यान देना है. तो communication is also is a source of providing education. Motivation. Communication is an effective means of motivating people by recognizing their talents and achievements and sharing ideas. Raising morale. So, in an organization, raising morals and attitudes of the employees. Good communication अगर managers और employees के बीच में होगा तो उनका morale भी high रहेगा. They will provide their feedback, their queries, their problems to the manager, so that उनके बीच उनको भी काम करने के लिए अच्छा वो लोग motivated रहेंगे. Warning. Sometimes communication is also done to provide some warning, like in an organization, any course of action due to negligence, mishandling, or misbehaving. In सब के लिए to provide warning to the employees who don't abide with the rules and regulations of the organization. So that's it for today. Thank you.